Today on the pod, we're talking to Megan, trapeze artist and Scratchers enthusiast. So, Megan, what do you like about playing Scratchers?
Well, they're easy to play when I'm hanging around.
Oh, okay. Like when you're relaxing?
No, like when I'm hanging on the trapeze. I swing upside down, then do a quadruple somersault, all while playing Scratchers. Watch this. Ta-da!
Unbelievable.
I know, right?
Scratchers from the California Lottery. A little play can make your day. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 years or older to purchase player claim.
Good Wednesday morning. Welcome into the Morning Roast on Maine Sports Leader 92.9 The Ticket. The Roast is presented by Next Home. They're the market leader. Get looped and get sold with the Next Home experience. We're in the Greenway Equipment Studios, your locally owned John Deere dealer. See the Smith Brothers in Bangor and Ellsworth because nothing runs like a Deere. Bangor Window Shade and Drapery, offering custom blinds, shades, drapery, outdoor awnings. Bangor Window Shade, 105 Main Street in Bangor. Brian Sullivan, Tyler Krusz, Marqus Cesar here on this Wednesday morning. Tyler, how are you?
I am doing well. It is another beautiful day. I wish we could have had some of this weekend some of this weather over the long weekend, but it is what it is.
Marcus, how you holding up?
Not too shabby. Tangential to New England sports, but I saw this video of a guy at the Eastern Conference Final, I think maybe last couple minutes, and he's already typing up the Reddit post like, I don't think I can get behind this James Harden extension. And he called it before it even happened, and well, here we are.
There you go. Okay.
They're planning on doing it.
Well, keep us up to date on whatever you're going to throw up there on Reddit. I love to be abreast of all that information. Last night you had Western Conference Finals back and forth. The Thunder win that one. The Vegas Knights punch their ticket to the Stanley Cup, and the Red Sox lose 7-6. A feisty loss from the hometown team by the Sox there, 7-6. Couple of ding dongs out of the gate.
A feisty loss. It was feisty sweep by the whoever we played last. It's a feisty season, sure.
This is going to be a rough stretch, I think, for the Sox.
It's a tough month ahead for them. Yeah,
Braves,
schedule wise,
Guardians. Those are real baseball teams, and
you throw the Yankees in there at some point.
Yeah, but just this week it goes Braves Guardians, and that Braves team they've got offense, and they're without they're like I think their catcher is their leadoff hitter Daniel Baldwin. I think he went to the injured list a couple of days ago, and so they're without him, the guy that leads off, and they just. Yeah, I don't know. That's about as good as you're going to get from the Boston Red Sox last night, and you lose 7-6.
Yeah, 6 runs is probably about as good as his offense will get, and yeah, it just can't. Well, it couldn't hold it together with the bullpen, which has been really lights out. Like the recipe for the Red Sox has been get your starter to about the 6th, and then we go Slayton, Whitlock, Chapman, and we'll be all right. And the bullpen kind of fell apart these last couple days.
So we'll talk about that. I do think that now is the time for some drastic moves for a couple of reasons, so we can get into that. Also, in the NBA last night, you had I don't know. I'm into this Western Conference Finals, and you had one where maybe a missed call, and it goes. Game could have gone a different way, but late in that one, there was our old buddy. What's the big galoot there? Luke Cornett tried to tip one back in. Maybe a little goaltending. Maybe it doesn't go his way, and the Thunder end up winning by 13. But a pretty good game, a nice Game 5 last night in the West, Tyler.
Yeah, really good game. I turned it on after halftime, and it was like Gilgeous-Alexander with 19 points and 10 for 10 from the free throw line. And I'm like, at halftime? I'm pulling for the Spurs in this one. I think the Thunder they're so good. They don't need to be abominable to watch, but they are abominable to watch sometimes.
I think a lot of times when you're really good, people end up, it takes them a little time, but they end up rooting against you. They want something new. You want, when Patrick Mahomes got to the top of the mountain, it's like, okay, I want someone else to win.
These guys like year 2.
Yeah, Alexander and the Thunder did not have much of a reign before we just all collectively did not enjoy their brand of hoop. He's just flopping all over the place. It works. They're good. Their front office should write textbooks on how to acquire picks, draft players, and develop talent. And whatever they've done, it works. But man, it's not that fun to watch.
No, it's really not. And this, back when, and we all hate the really good teams, but like I always remember the Golden State teams with Kevin Durant. And yeah, it was kind of like he loses 3-1 and then goes to the team that beats him. But when they were on their game, they were fun to watch. Like that was the term being floated around now is unethical hoops for the Thunder. Like a lot of these teams that we've hated have played ethically. You know, like the Golden State Warriors where they weren't flopping around. They were just really, really good at basketball and a lot better than everyone else. You know, this team they are better than everyone else, but are they that much better? And how much do the refs play? I just wish there wasn't the conversation around them because they are such a good young team that it feels like they're going to be here for a while. And this stench, sticking around them is just not good.
We're just so smart at things as a society. We figure stuff out. There's so many numbers and analytics that we figure things out. Like in baseball, the shift or that hitting for like or shooting threes, like the numbers of it. And so the Thunder just kind of figured out that like free throws are free. Let's just do this sort of like make them not make a call. Make them say, no, that's not a foul and just flop over. Like Gilgeous-Alexander to a point where he just falls over. Like it's just sort of like in him to fall to the ground. And then the ref is just like, okay. Maybe, okay. I didn't do it last time, but that's a foul.
There was a video of him standing on a big workout ball, like catching stuff, and everyone's like, oh, he does have great balance. He just likes to fall every time he jumps and lands.
So, but that it's 3-2, and I would think the Spurs take that one, and I think we're going to get a nice decisive Game 7.
I think we get a Game 7, and I think the Knicks are sitting back, watching it, loving it.
Yeah, the Knicks sneaky could make this a fun NBA Finals.
They're a good team. They're a really good team. They've been since for the last couple of years. They have been a very exciting team to watch. They pulled the right moves. I didn't think splitting up the Nova Knicks was a great thing. I thought sending Julius Randle away for Karl Anthony Towns would be a bad move. It's all worked out. It's all worked out great for them.
Joe Mazzulla is your coach of the year. That also award given out yesterday. Jaylen Brown's second team All-NBA, so we can get into that stuff as well. All right, let's do some headlines and highlights, but first, available when ordering McDelivery through Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub, 2 sausage McMuffins with egg, 2 hotcakes, 4 hash browns, 4 small hot coffees, all for just $19.99. This bundle deal is over 40% off and for a limited time. Order your local family-owned Mickey D's on Maine and Union Streets in Bangor and Wilson Street in Brewer. Let's do it, Marcus. All right, as the game goes on last night, Jaren Duran leads off with a home run, but in the end, not enough to get the win. They lose 7-6. Here is Jaren afterwards. Among the guys that have been hitting, one of the people out there that I think Tyler dislikes the most, I don't know why, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Here's what he had to say about making the most of his opportunities. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Red Sox
still looking to
savior.
develop. He's still looking to develop. He's been around since like 2008. Oh. This guy's had he's 31 years old, and he's like, I'm looking to develop myself into a hitter. You're 31 years old, buddy. That was like, your time to do that was in AA 5 years ago.
He looks at that green monster, and he's looking at his chops. He just wants to start banging balls off
What's he hitting?
Fifth for the Boston Red Sox, and above 200, so that makes him the cream of the crop.
Yeah, 5th and above 200.
Yeah, and it's tough that he mentions Marcus Semien there because he is top
like statistically,
bottom.
Like the worst player in baseball.
Yeah, like bottom 10.
Yeah, but
trying to get like him. Yeah,
exactly. Okay, quick commercial break coming your way. We're going to talk with Throck coming up at 6:40. Stock report coming your way. Lots of stuff to get to. Madden Generator Services with expert installation, dependable maintenance, and a free 7-year warranty on new Generac installs. They'll keep your home in the game. Call 951-4668. Madden Generator Services, power you can count on. And start your morning at Gosselin's Bakery, 334 Harlow Street in Bangor. Grab a breakfast sandwich on an English muffin or croissant. Plus, legendary donuts and pastries made since 1945, or visit the new Gosselin Bakery and Deli next to Hannaford in Brewer. Back with the Stock Report next. Bangor Mall Cinemas is created Bangor's favorite hometown theater for over 40 years. Bangor Mall Cinemas features luxury recliners and upgraded food menu. Find showtimes and reserve your seat at yourneighborhoodtheater.com. And Dairy Queen in Old Town, the DQ $7 chicken strip meal deal has it all. 100% white meat, seasoned chicken strips, full-size fries, a drink, and a DQ sundae, all for just $7. And now you can get it with the new honey sriracha dip. Visit 613 Stillwater Avenue in Old Town. All right, first question I will pose to you, gentlemen. I would say the stock on Jaylen Brown is likely, maybe it's been this high following the NBA MVP of the championship series there, the MVP of the finals. But it's probably never been higher. Is now the time to sell your Jaylen Brown stock? Is now the time to break it up and get what you can? Would you? Because I think probably in the eyes of the league, you can look at him and look at what he did and say, that guy could be my number one.
That guy can make your difference. Yeah, he can make a difference.
Guy.
He can be a number one. He can make a difference. It all depends on, I think, like, is he okay not being a number one? Because, I don't know. When the playoff loss was still fresh, I wanted him out of here. I wanted to trade him. I thought he couldn't lead a team. This was the second time he'd have to do it without Tatum in the playoffs, and he failed both times. He's not really a guy that can create disadvantages for a defense or create advantages on offense. He's very good at taking advantage of those situations, and we saw that in the year he won Finals MVP. He's a great finisher of possessions, but can he, off the dribble, off the attack, create for himself, create for others? I think it's all contingent on if a tough shot goes in. Like whether he's successful or not is if his shots go in. He's not really doing anything that is going to give you a good look every time out there. I don't know. I think it depends on the return. I think if you're going to get a Giannis for him, I'd do that in a heartbeat. I think Giannis and Tatum together would be a dominant force in the league. But if you can't get an actual star for him, if you can't get a guy that you can look at and say, if Tatum goes down, this guy can be our number one, then I don't think the trade's worth it.
I've heard with the Rockets and you get the Sengun guy, Alperen Sengun, and a bunch of picks. Would you want a bunch of picks?
No. I don't think I'd want a bunch of picks.
I wonder, though, does
Jaylen Brown
fit the way that you want to play basketball? Because his game is kind of a mid-range game. He's a guy that feels pretty comfortable around the elbow.
And he slows it down, too. He's got to attack his guy off the dribble, break him down, take him one-on-one, hit the shot over him. He doesn't make a few dribbles, draw in a 2-on-1, find an open guy. He doesn't get past his guy and go right. He kind of stops the ball a little bit on offense.
He could very easily take 30 shots a game and be the guy that, with those 30 shots, averages over 30 points a game. He could be the focal point of your offense. Doesn't quite need to be here. Won't be with a fully healthy Tatum. So I just wonder, is now the time? Because just the way also that the NBA works, it incentivizes teams and players to stay with the team that drafted you. And because of what Jaylen Brown is, and now Jaylen Brown's second team All-NBA. So that he's between 6
top
and 10
player, yep.
Top 10 player in the NBA.
I think he was 6th in voting.
I think he is eligible for an extension this year, which, and I don't want to count people's money, but he's going to make over $70 million a year. He's eligible for an extension.
It would be a 3-year extension onto that massive deal he signed a couple of years ago, so he'd still be making that supermax, but they'd have to, this is the summer that he's up for that. And if he doesn't sign with the Celtics, he loses out on $70 million total. The contract goes down because you're not sending a supermax with that same team.
If you do not sign him to that contract, which he's eligible for now, he will not be a happy camper.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm eligible for a raise and you don't, and you just knowingly don't give it to me and keep me on making the same amount of money when I know I've just done everything you could ask of me and more, then he's going to be disgruntled. I think he's going to be disgruntled if he's not already a little bit disgruntled.
I agree. And do you want a disgruntled star around?
So then other part of it is be careful what you wish for. Pay him and let's stay the course. Because
That's the thing. You stay the course. You've also, you've only won one title. You've been there 3 times and you've lost to inferior Heat team, inferior Sixers team, and an old Warriors team, really. But that's the finals. But since you've been eliminated, and a Knicks team that was inferior to you, those 3 years that you did not make it to the finals, your 3 losses were to inferior teams.
You say you only won one title.
You still won a title, yeah.
Title. And so their philosophy is kind of just, their overall philosophy is, we're going to shoot threes. It's 2, if we get 2 of 5, then we're good. If we get 2 of 5, and that's what 2 of 5 seasons they've made it to the NBA Finals. That is their overall philosophy. Is we're going to shoot threes. 2 of 5 go in. We got it made in the shade. 2 years they made it to the finals. 1 year they won it. And so, is that so bad? Do we want to break up Brown and Tatum? Is now the time? I guess if it's Giannis, it's one thing. But if it's Giannis and all your picks, and if it is Giannis, I think it shortens the window. I think Giannis has got a couple more years
left,
and it's a little bit, it truncates it just a bit. So I don't know if you were going to. I think now's the time. The other one I wanted to get to is Mazzulla, which he's coach of the year.
Yeah,
100%
deserving
of regular season coach of the year. he got so much out of this NBA Celtics team throughout the course of the regular season that I think the award is very warranted. But I think in the postseason, he got a little bit exposed.
Yeah, I also think the roster did as well. Why did we give him Coach of the Year? Because he took this team to the second seed. He only had one guy in All-NBA. He was second-team All-NBA. The rest was Derek White and kind of a down year. Peyton Pritchard, Baylor Shireman, Hugo Gonzalez, Luka Garza, guys who don't have long careers as stars in this league at all. And then you get to the playoffs, and that kind of gets exposed because nobody is load managing anymore. You're not resting, and you're also not playing a schedule full of tankers. But I do think that if you're going to say Joe Mazzulla deserves Coach of the Year because look what he did with this roster, then you come to the playoffs and say Joe Mazzulla choked. I just think the roster either stopped playing over their head, they reached a little bit of competition that was better than they had all regular season long. I don't want to poo-poo on Joe Mazzulla's playoff performance from this year. The last year's, like the Heat loss was ridiculous.
So here we are sitting with the Coach of the Year and the sixth best player in the NBA, and we're like, geez, these guys stink.
You got beat by a 7 seed.
We got beat by the 76ers and a 35-year-old Paul George. Got swept by the Knicks. So I wonder, it's a conversation of, is what's happened good enough? Is this good enough? Is it so bad to win 55 regular season games, and then when you get to the playoffs, maybe you're not quite tough enough, but maybe it goes in 2 out of 5 times? Like, they're due.
I'd take that with my baseball team right now.
Sure. Okay. I would take that. If you could tell me that the Boston Red Sox are going to get to the World Series 2 out of 5 years, yeah, I'd take that. Win it 1 out of 5 years.
I just meant having if they were to win 3/4 of the regular season games and then get swept in the playoffs, I'd be fine with it. Give me a fun 162.
That sounds like 2025 to me, right? That's pretty much what happened. So I don't know. I wonder if now is the time to make a move off of Jaylen Brown, just because stock's never been higher. And when you go back to the Giannis stuff, he's been wanting to be traded for about 3 years now, right?
Yeah.
And nobody's come with a deal that's good enough to make the Bucks say, okay, we'll do it. And if, no offense to the Miami Heat, but if it's a package around like Tyler Hero and guys like that, it's like, okay, well, let's not overpay. Like, don't be the only ones. Don't be the Patriots giving up the first round pick to the Eagles when they're the only one offering up a first round pick for AJ Brown. What's the price to get Giannis? Does it have to be Jaylen Brown? Would you take a bunch of our picks and Derek White and Sam Hauser?
Can you afford that?
What do I care?
Can the Celtics afford that?
What do I care?
I mean, that means if they're going to do it or not.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you can pay the penalty you got under, right? I mean, I think you probably not sustainable for a long time, but if you subtract like White makes X, Hauser makes Y, you add those together, you get rid of another guy, you got all these exceptions from getting rid of Anthony Simons. I mean, I'm not a math man, but I don't know. I wonder if you need to give up the whole everything.
Got an empty spot on the roster.
Yeah, just for Giannis. I don't know. If a deal was good enough to get Giannis out of there, it would have been done a year ago.
Yeah.
I think they're not getting, I think he's 31 and he gets hurt a little bit. So I don't know that I want that all that much. Okay, Uno Pizzeria and Grill every Thursday at Uno's. Pasta night for just $12.99. Bring the family, bring your appetite. And Marcus?
You manja.
Yeah, you do. Own Uno's on Stillwater Avenue or unos.com. Back with more after this. The 2026 Ticket Awards, the third annual awards, are June 22nd. 28 categories of excellence through the whole season. Voting for the fall slew of categories closes today, May 27th. Cast your votes at 929theticket.com. All right, I'm going to talk with Throck in just a couple of minutes here, but I did want to pose a question. Do you think now is the time that should and will the Boston Red Sox add some offense to the team? Will Craig Breslow make a bold move?
See, if I was the GM, I would have added offense in December. I don't know I don't know, because you have the lockout looming next year, right? And it's also not the offseason. You're trading in season. You're going to be trading before the deadline. What do we know about deadline trades? You pay a premium. You're not getting a bargain. You're not getting a deal. You're probably going to lose a deadline trade. 9 times out of 10. Whether it's a rental, you're going to overpay because they know that you are in need. They know you're desperate. Nobody's more desperate right now than the Boston Red Sox, unless they don't care. They're 8-18 at home. They're the only team in the MLB without 10 wins at home. They're now 9 games under 500. You've lost 4 in a row. Maybe they are fine just watching people pay money to chance sell the team.
I think that
my big thing is too, there's a lockout looming next year. So who are they going to go get? Are they going to sign him to an extension? Are they really going to sell a farm for a player that might not even be here next year? That might not play in 2028, What
I think will not happen is they will not be early sellers. I think that the people who are saying, and I even said, Sonny Gray, Aroldis Chapman, maybe even Contreras, guys that maybe aren't part of the long-term plans are going to be trade chips. You can't trade them now because I think just as a business that all they care about is the gate. At this point, it's people coming to Fenway. You still have June, July. You got 30 home games in that span where people, I think if you start selling off Sonny Gray and Aroldis Chapman, June 5th, then I think that you get more bags, you get more planes overhead. So I wonder if they try to find that right-handed bat that injects a little bit of offense, a little bit of excitement into the crowd, and just because, just for the sake of it, I think pretty much
you don't really have a great farm anymore. Those guys have kind of graduated.
Well, I want to get to Throck, but here, just play this Lou Merloni bite, and we can talk with Throck about this right after the gate, because I think Lou puts it pretty astutely here.
We should have been doing that. We've had 3 to 4 prospects we've wanted to surround with veterans. This was the year to do that in the offseason. And second thing, if you're paying a premium for trades in May, why did we send Rafael Devers for a bag of balls?
All right, we'll talk with Tim Throckmorton about it right after the break. Don't go away. Morning Roast brought to you by Hero Sports Grill and Entertainment Center. Hero's the official sports grill of the roast and the place to be in downtown Bangor and at herosportsgrill.com. Now joining us on the Heroes hotline is Tim Throckmorton. Throck, how are you?
Excellent. Thanks for the Jay Giles. I'm not going to give you the top 100 debut count that Larry Mahoney would give you, but it was a good start. Good start for me. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate that. We appreciate you. Before the break, we were talking about the Boston Red Sox. You think that a move is what to do? Or, I think Lou Merloni said it pretty astutely. Let's pick 3 or 4 of these guys and just start and build around them and get us some vets. But it might be a little too late for that, Throck.
I guess part of it for me is the metrics part, where all you're doing is calculating if this guy plays this many games against these kinds of pitchers that throws right-handed, that throws breaking balls that are usually here, and it just goes on. And it's like, it should work. Moneyball was an amazing movie, and I love the Scott Hatteberg deal where he goes, well, you want me? And it actually worked. Of course, it's a movie. Well, it did work in real life, too. But, I don't know if you're not letting managers manage anymore based on feel and based on, this guy's, throwing well in the 6th inning. Let's leave him in the game for another inning. So I think that's part of the problem for me, is overanalyzing what people can or can't do. And so maybe that's old school for me, and maybe that's the wave of the future, but that's not working. And so now that's how you've picked your roster. You've actually put together people that on paper are going to be good, and they're not. And you need veteran leadership. Does that show up in metrics? Leadership? No. So they're missing the boat on some things, and I think I'm not sure why the whole American League is 500 now or below, but that kind of plays into it for me. You're just putting too much diagnostic in and not saying, okay, this is a good player.
It does feel as though the Alex Bregman, is he a 250 hitter? Maybe, but is he a strong clubhouse presence? That was probably overlooked in the 1s and 0s that were passed across the iPad by Breslow and company. Yeah, no,
I just think that you do need a star, somebody that has a personality that can transcend, and you can put on these young players. Look, now you're saying, okay, we got a good farm system. We're going to bring all these young guys up, but that it's Major League Baseball, 162 games, all playing every day. You've got to have you've got to have leadership and people that bring you up and people that you can chat with in the dugout to figure out problems and issues. And now they don't even have Cora to do that. So I just can hardly watch. I have to look away. It's like a train wreck.
Do you think Breslow is or should be on the hot seat? I mean, you mentioned the whole Bregman thing. It wasn't even ones and zeros. It was the fact that he wouldn't take a no-trade clause. It was just like the petty bickering between players and agents. I think if you don't turn this season around, I think Breslow's got to be on the hot seat. Would you agree?
Yeah, I've always thought Breslow is doing something that I would not do. So of course, I'm sitting here at home, and I'm not a Major League Baseball executive, so he certainly knows a lot more than I do. But I've always thought that, like, what is he doing? What? I do like the idea of signing young guys long term to get them in the fold, so they don't get this max money once they're superstars. 5 years in, or whatever the window is for Major League Baseball players. That. You screwed it up with Campbell, but some of the others, I think there are some really good deals there now. But if you're only thinking about deals and money and taking a flyer here and a flyer there, I'm tired of the flyers. I mean, not the Philly, but just all of these chances. Okay, we think this might work out. No, go get some sure things, and then you can get some might work out guys.
Yeah, Dan Duquette signed, Eric Hansen off the scrap heap back in '95, and that's the modus operandi for the next 30 years is how it goes. Throck, well, I want to switch gears. We talked about the Celtics a little bit here. Would you run it back with the Jays, or would you make a bold move and trade Jaylen Brown this offseason?
Well, I'm not sure if we talked about this. You were here last week, Sully, but you can't just trade Jaylen Brown because you're upset that he didn't have his running mate, and because he made one comment, and because he had this great regular season but couldn't finish. You got a guy that I don't even know how to make an analogy here, but I'll just say something like you've got a horse, you've got a horse that just ran the Kentucky Derby that you thought might win, but he finished 12th, and you want to trade him. And you want to trade him for, let's get a bunch of trotters and pacers from Bangor Raceway. No, you keep your horse. You got a horse. Well, what are you getting rid of him for? I mean, because of the comments, because you don't think he can play with Tatum? No, you add. You didn't have. Now you're upset. I am too, but we all are upset that they didn't take this second best team in the East and do a little better. But it was right there. That was going to happen. So now you've got this team that has excelled over the last chunk of years, and you want to say, "Oh, I'm mad with Jaylen Brown because I don't think blah blah blah. Let's trade him." What are you trading him for? I mean, that's way overreacting. I think we add. I think the Celtics have to add, not subtract.
Yeah, you don't trade an A for two Bs. You don't trade Aaron Rodgers for Derek Carr and Plaxico Burress. What kind of a fool would do that?
It's true. No,
that's a reference to your fantasy trade that you forever ago. Sorry, that was very inside baseball.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Even I knew that.
Yeah, you're making a joke, but I had a legitimate reason to do it. I had two really good quarterbacks. And somebody wanted one, and I needed another receiver, so I got to. Anyway,
that was real inside baseball. Throck one time made a trade that lives in infamy in our fantasy football league, and I think two people will never speak to him again, and happened in 2009. Throck, what's truth or Throck today?
Okay, well, because everything's so depressing, and you guys are just beating up on our Boston team, so and maybe with some good reason, but these are some world records just to get you thinking a little differently and enjoying your life a little more. Okay, world records. 3 world records. 2 of these are actually true. Number 1, a Frenchman named Jacques Iguil set a painful record with more than 1,400 needles pushed into his skin. He walked 100 meters without any falling out. World record. Number 2, the most McDonald's Big Macs consumed is 34,000. Don Gorski has eaten about 2 per day since 1972. That's all he eats, except for occasional dessert or an evening snack. And Ilker Yilmaz has an interesting record. He snorts milk and forces it into his tear ducts. His record is that he has squirted milk from his eye over 9 feet.
All right, so I remember seeing pictures of like all of these in the Scholastic Book Fair when I was a kid, going through because I was the one book I wanted every year was the Guinness World Records, and not a lot of them changed year after year, but that's what I wanted. And I remember the guy squirting milk, and I remember the guy walking with needles, but I also remember the second one too. So like one of those names has got to be off. I'm gonna go with number 1.
Okay.
I'm going with number 2. Yeah, real hot ticket item, that Guinness Book of World Records. But I feel like they usually have to be like monitored, and it's kind of more of a tight thing. Like
You documented.
Exactly.
I think if you were to say, make up a name of someone who ate 34,000 Big Macs, you would probably, top of the mind, would say Don Gorski. And so I'm going to say number 2 is the one that you've made up, Throck.
No, Don Gorski. He actually has receipts for McDonald's going all the way back, so to prove that he's eaten all those Big Macs. He's kind of weird, and he's only like 6'2", like 190.
Okay,
it's just
he earns
really
it.
Strange.
So what's
yeah? So the aiguille is French for needles. There's no Jacques Aiguille, but so I'm not sure what video you saw of somebody walking around with needles.
Oh, it was a Guinness World Record. It was just like a picture, so maybe it was something else sticking out of his skin.
I think
but
it
I
was
was
Saw 2.
8 years old. I don't know. It's some photographic memory. I got it right, though, so I mean, that's all that really matters.
Yeah, that's good. That's true. I'll give you credit for that.
All right, Throck, good stuff as always. We appreciate you spending some time with us on a Wednesday morning. You hang in there, and always just vet those fantasy trades. You really got to think them over, Tim.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, by the way, it's off to the playoffs now. We just wrapped up the regular season. Hamden Tennis 7-5, and we're off to play this weekend against a team we just played a couple of weeks ago, and we did pretty well. So we're off to Mount Ararat this weekend.
All right, good luck to the Broncos. All right, thank you very much. Tim Throckmorton joining us there on the Heroes Hotline. This Day in History is next. Oh, Lisa Left Eye Lopez, born this day, 1971, singer from TLC, passed away 2002. 1679 Habeas Corpus Act passes in England, strengthening a person's right to challenge unlawful arrest and imprisonment. 1930, the 1,046-foot Chrysler Building in New York City, the tallest man-made structure at the time, opens to the public. Let's see, this day in 1930, Richard Drew invents masking tape. And then in sports history, 1937, Carl Hubbell wins his MLB record 24th consecutive game, a 3-2 victory. In 55, Red Sox first baseman Norm Zauchin has 10 RBIs in a 16-0 win over the Washington Senators.
What's he doing? Call him up.
Yeah, exactly. He's still kicking around. 87, knuckleballer Phil Niekro, the third pitcher to make a 700th start, joining Cy Young and Don Sutton. Let's see, other birthdays today. Dante Alighieri, the poet, author of things like Dante's Inferno and Divina Commedia, was born 1265. He names Dante and it's Dante's Inferno. Yeah, it can just be Inferno.
I always wonder when we get these, when we get these really old people on here, like, do they have birth certificates back in 1265 to know that, May 20 whatever was this guy's birthday?
They probably it's an approximation, potentially, but they could probably get a headstone that you can look at. 1922, 2015, Christopher Lee, 1922, Christopher Lee was born, passed away 2015. He was Dracula back in the day. He was in the Lord of the Rings movie. I think he was Sauron in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, God, his name escapes me.
Yeah.
But he was not Sauron. He was
not?
like a lackey, like right-hand man.
Oh, okay.
Kinda.
Let's see. Holidays today. Sunscreen Day. Apply it. It's Gray Day. It is Aaron, Aaron Day. And it is Nothing to F 1930 Ear Day. Nothing to Fear Day. I don't know what that is.
I really don't know how that happened. Really slipped me in the edit.
Yeah.
Whoops. But yeah, you got it.
Nothing to Fear Day. Nothing
Bingo.
to Fear Day. Okay, there you go. All right, 7M Hour coming up next. Don't go away.
Today on the pod, we're talking to Megan, trapeze artist and scratchers enthusiast. So, Megan, what do you like about playing scratchers?
Well, they're easy to play when I'm hanging around.
Oh, okay. Like when you're relaxing?
No, like when I'm hanging on the trapeze. I swing upside down, then do a quadruple somersault, all while playing scratchers. Watch this. Ta-da!
Unbelievable.
I know, right?
Scratchers from the California Lottery. A little play can make your day. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 years or older to purchase player claim.
Hear that? That's the sound of busy. To a restaurant, all that shouting and banging might as well be a symphony. It means the long days and longer nights are paying off. Sure, it's noisy, but there's a worse sound. This, not busy. Busy means business, which is why Toast gives restaurants the tools and tech they need to help them perform under pressure. Sounds pretty good, right? Toast, built for busy.